you're struggling with student loans, hopefully this video will help you out. My 4 years of college were paid through federal and private loans, mostly because my parents couldn't afford it, and we also weren't educated in how the American education system works. Because of these reasons, I ended up accumulating around $200,000 in student debt loans. Now, I graduated back in 2019, so it's been 4 years since then, and I've paid around $36,000. I have a better job than when I first graduated, and I live with my parents, so financially, I'm somewhat stable and I'm still trying to work my way through the debt. Considering that I'm nowhere near close to finishing my student loans, I thought I would talk about the different ways that I mentally handle my student loans and how I set myself up for success. The truth is that no matter what your student loan debt amount is, if you leave your loans there, it's just going to accrue interest and you'll be doing a lot more harm to your financial stability than good. Without further ado, here's some advice that I took for myself and the advice that I would tell anyone who's trying to tackle their student loans. The first thing I tell people is to make their monthly payments. I know that it seems pretty basic. If you want to pay off your loans, then pay them off, but it's actually interesting to see how many people don't start with making their monthly payments or decide to defer them. By not making your monthly payments, you're actually doing a lot of harm to yourself in the fact that you're just going to keep accruing interest, which is never a good thing. So if you have the money for your monthly payment, pause the video right now and go to whatever your student loan provider website is and start making a monthly payment. I'll take the first step with you, but if you ever need any help or have any questions, always feel free to reach out to me. Also, I should probably preface at this point that I am just an average person with student loan debt, so I'm not a financial advisor. Feel free to disregard my information or not see it as a professional service or advice or tip. There are plenty of people who have the credibility for it, but I'm hoping by making this video, I hope people feel less alone in the entire process, because it is pretty lonely when you're just by yourself making these loan payments. Speaking of professional financial advice, this next tip is going to need the help of the internet and actual finance professionals. Try to make additional payments to pay your loans off faster. It's easy to throw money at your student loans, but there are actual ways online to pay off your student loans in an efficient way. I'm not going to go into the methods, but again, pause the video and it's easy as typing in how to pay off my student loans faster. And you'll see things like the snowball method, the avalanche method, and the different ways that they affect your student loans. Some honorable mentions that I saw on social media. I heard that Vivian, your rich BFF on TikTok, is really good for any personal finance tips and advice. So definitely look at her channel if you want someone's advice who has credibility. In my experience, I've been paying off my loans with additional payments, and one of the things that I would like to tell people is to not throw your entire paycheck into your loans. Just pay what you can. Yes, throwing more amounts of money into your loans will pay them off faster, but if it isn't comfortable for you or it makes for a financially stable situation, then I wouldn't recommend doing it. These loans are physical reminders that it's just not a sprint, it's a marathon. Something that I tell myself a lot is that it's going to take some time, because it is, and that I just have to be okay with that. It's important to remember that if we're consistent with our efforts, we'll eventually pay off our loans and have a higher degree of financial independence. Personally, I pay around $2,000 a month in student loans, and I would just love to not have to pay that going forward. Now, the advice that I was giving were reactive tips, advice that helps us react to our current situation. I think it's also important to think of the proactive actions that we can do, and that I give some proactive advice. What are things that we can do now to improve our financial situation and put us in a better situation to pay these loans faster? One of the things that we can do is get a new job. Now, I know in today's current time, it's easier said than done, but as challenging as it can be, It's also one of the ways that we can increase our income so that we can pay our loans faster. One thing that we can do right now without jumping into any type of interview is being more frugal with our money, going out less, learning how to cook, etc. Personally, I like to stay inside, so that does help my finances, but I also make sure to keep track of where I'm spending my money in a finance sheet. Being aware of where we're spending our money can help us be more frugal. We might not know how much we're spending on subscriptions or new shoes, clothes. Another proactive skill is learning how to say no to people. This was probably one of the hardest things that I had to learn. Some people feel like when you say no to people, you won't be wanted, but that is further from the truth. Lots of times, if you say no to your friends or your family, they'll understand as long as you explain to them why you're saying no. It's okay to say no, just don't say no to everything. Try to have a little bit of fun when you can. It's important to pay off your loans and not feel like you're in a cage or restricted to do anything fun. My last proactive tip is to make a list of your financial priorities. Hopefully, student loans is towards the top of your list, but if it isn't, feel free to leave a comment on why it isn't. I would love to help and to answer any questions that you have. Alright, we talked about reactive advice, proactive advice. I have one last advice that I want to give to anyone that's dealing with student loans just like me. Remind yourself that you're doing your best. Paying off your student loans is about reacting to your situation in a better way and being proactive so that you can improve your situation. I hope this video helps you towards a better future. If you like my content, feel free to subscribe, comment, like, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.